once again Christian greetings to all our valued listeners and viewers throughout the whole world. Even more particularly to all Shepherd's Rod believers, and most especially to our beloved brothers and sisters in the United States of America. Special greetings to our brethren in Colorado, in Texas, in Missouri, in Kansas, in Chicago, Illinois, in Georgia, in Fiji Island, Mexico, Spain, in Africa, Pakistan, Kenya, to the United Kingdom, and also to our brethren in Australia, and to the rest of the 144,000 living saints scattered abroad. Greetings. May the good Lord bless you, brothers and sisters. This is our special episode number 3 on the subject, the beast and its image. And this is one of the most important subject that we need to study, being the particular object in view concerning the message of the third angel as the occurrences that will take place on this earth. Now, I would like to read track number 3 on page 'where the Shepherd's Rod says that concerning the 4 beasts and Revelation, and also the 4 beasts in the book of Daniel. Track number 3, page 15, it says, let's read the statement. Plus the 4 beasts, who being redeemed out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Verses 8 and 9 are therefore symbolical of the saints. All those whose sins will be blotted from the books of records. Just as the beasts of Daniel 7 are symbolical of all the kingdoms which will perish in their sins. Track number 3, page 15. So, in that reading, we can easily understand that to be a part of the saved ones, whether resurrected or living saints, is to be a part of the 4 beasts in Revelation chapter 4 and chapter 5. The lion, the calf, and the beast with the face of the Son of Man, and the flying eagle. And we know that it is the flying eagle that represent the last generation. According to 2SR page 196, it says, as the fourth beast was like a flying eagle, he represents the period in the time of the harvest. The last period is symbolized by the flying eagle to denote the church that shall be translated. 2SR page 196. But to be a part of the four beasts in Daniel chapter 7, or the beast in Revelation 13 and Revelation 17, indicates that we will be among those who will perish in their sins. And that is the reason why we need to study closely the beast revelation to escape of being a part of such system. Because we already studied that the beast represent system according to 2SR on page 86. There are two systems employed by the devil to deceive God's people. That is universal system and also local system. And the statement in track number 12 saying, and track number 12 page 6, the kingdoms that have gone down, the kingdoms that still exist, and the kingdoms that are yet to come, whose legislations involve God's people, have been pictorially chronicled by both Daniel and John the Revelator. And concerning the book of Daniel, I think it is the fourth beast by which God's people had been involved in that vision of Daniel concerning the fourth beast. But concerning the book of Revelation, Revelation 13 and Revelation 17, is a revelation coming from God to reveal and to portray the scheme of the devil that Satan employed to deceive God's people. And of course, such revelation is to let God's people escape and avoid giving allegiance to the enemies of God. In track number 12, on page 50, saying, although our first question should be, what shall we do to avoid giving allegiance to the enemies of God? Of course, the enemies of God is Satan. And the beast revelation is a revelation coming from God to completely unmask and expose the deception employed by Satan to deceive God's people. And the principal object is to avoid giving allegiance to the enemies of God, so as to be found worthy of a place in His kingdom when this evil time shall come. Tract number 12 on page 50. And the statement given by the shepherd's rod says that the Lord has been at supreme pains. In tract number 12, page 28. The Lord has been at supreme pains not only to record a graphic description of the evil, which through the instrumentality of the beast, Satan has determined upon the whole world. So Satan is very determined that if possible, the whole world will be deceived. And because of that, God is at supreme pains to record in graphic demonstration, in graphic descriptions, all the schemes of the devil. So let us now gradually decipher all the satanic scheme as recorded in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation through the beast revelation. So I would like to read again in 2SR page 10. While the enemy has succeeded in confusing the written word of God, God lightens the earth with His glory by these symbolic revelations, and by which He discloses the entire truth and uncovers the traps of the devil. Thus, through types and symbols, He makes wise the simple and confounds the prudent by showing that where there is no type, there is no truth. That is why, brothers and sisters, we need to ever remember that if you will not focus to symbols, you cannot defeat the enemy of God. And for sure, you will be defeated. Because the statement, Satan, the enemy, has succeeded in confusing the written word. It's easy to twist the written word of God if that does not deals with symbol. And it says here in 2SR 288, written words can be misconstrued, but symbols cannot, thus making it possible for both learned and unlearned to immediately distinguish the difference between truth and error. The picture tells the story, and symbols do not lie. 1SR page 124. So, hoping that we will be profited with such revelation, the beast revelation, to defeat the enemy of inspiration. I remember the statement in Answerer number 1 on page 65, saying, and unless, Answerer number 1, page 65, and unless we let the truth extricate us from this fatal fog of confusion. And I think this statement is more definitely applied in our days. Brothers and sisters, it's easy to find the true movement in the days of B.T. Hawker because there is only one movement that believe the Shepherd's Rod publications. But how about in our days? It is a fatal fog of confusion. I remember the statement in 2SR on page 90, 2SR page 90, it says, in view of this great confusion, there is apparent difficulty to immediately determine who is right and who is wrong. We are living in a great confusion, brothers and sisters, because there are many different movements. All of them, brothers and sisters, are believing that the message in the last days is the Sharper's Rod publications. But what a confusion. Divided into different groups and hostile against each other's faith. And according to the Shepherd's Rod, in 11 Symbolic Code number 7, it says, page 3 and 4, when controversy or division comes in, all parties claim to be right and to have a conscience void of offense. All of them, all parties of the division claim to be right and to have a conscience void of offense. And it is also found in volume 5, page 688. But for sure, the Shepherd's Rod declared clearly in tract number 6, page 3 and 4, it says, since there is only one truth, and since no two sects are in absolute agreement as to what it is, naturally, not all can be right, but all, save one, must be wrong. All denominations of the Shepherd's Rod believers, all of them must be wrong, save one. There must be only one movement by which God recognized them as His movement. And of course, brothers and sisters, the Shepherd's Rod declared in for Symbolic Code 10 to 12, page 2, it must be the church in prophecy. The church in prophecy. So, in tract number 6, page 4, it says, by the prophecies only can we prove or disprove, know what we believe, and believe what we know, and with safety accept or reject any message. By the prophecies only, because the prophecy is the never-erring guide. In 2SR page 286, it says, the only safe way by which God's servants and His church can be free from error, full of faith, without guile in their mouth, all speak the same thing, is the never-erring guide, the Spirit of prophecy. The never-erring guide, the Spirit of prophecy. 2SR page 286. So, by the prophecies only can we prove or disprove, accept or reject with safety. And what prophecy? Symbolical and typological prophecy, according to 2SR page 10. The chosen medium of God to lighten His people and to completely uncovers the traps of the devil. 2SR page 10. And this is concerning the beast revelation. Now, I would like to read 1 SR 214. Let us read again. 1 SR page 214. It says that the intention of the devil, the intention of the complete satanic scheme is to deceive the whole world. So, of course, the word complete indicates number 7. And there are 7 universal beasts. Therefore, that 7 universal beasts, what is beast? System. It was employed by the devil, by Satan, in the last generation of men. According to this statement. Because the last generation of men, according to Spiritual Gifts, Book 3, page 26, is pointing to the saints that were destined, designed by God, to be translated to heaven without seeing death. And that is the 144,000 living saints. 1 SR 214, the intention of the complete satanic scheme is to deceive the whole world. The statement made by Christ is true, that he, Satan, will try to deceive even the very elect, the 144,000, if it were possible. So what is the main objective of Satan, brothers and sisters? By employing such complete satanic scheme, it is to deceive the whole world, and if possible, the very elect, the 144,000 living saints, clearly indicating that such complete satanic scheme is employed by Satan at the time when the 144,000 living saints are already in existence. Because it is illogical and impalpable inconsistency to say that Satan is trying to deceive the 144,000 living saints at the time when the 144,000 living saints were not as yet in existence. So, such complete satanic scheme that Satan employed must be in the last generation of men. Because Satan knoweth that the 144,000 living saints, the last ordained ministry, will be his Waterloo. According to White House Recruiter, page 25, saying, Satan grimly knows this. He knows his time is short and growing fearfully shorter. He knows that this faithful ministry are soon to be disclosed to view and to take the field against him. He knows that that will be his Waterloo. Hence his supreme effort now to eliminate them. Or in other words, his supreme effort is, if possible, he could hinder the existence of such mighty ministry, the last ordained ministry. Then it says, finding out at last, meaning, but at the time when he finally recognized and discovered that however hard he tried to avoid the existence of the 11th hour ministry, it did exist. Then at the time by which it did exist, it says that finding out at last though that he cannot do so, that he failed of his effort, his consequent aim will be to bring the time of trouble as never was in hope of destroying all. Or in other words, at the time when the 11th hour ministry are coming to the front, commence to be disclosed to view, then he moved very fast that if possible, the mark of the beast system will be employed, will be executed at the time when the 144,000 living saints are not yet sealed by the seal of protection. But God intervened and God commanded the 4 angels to hold the 4 winds. Now, let us now gradually decipher this very important event that are soon to take place, my dear brothers and sisters. Now, I would like to read 2SR. 2SR page 112. So let's read. 2SR page 112. Since the scarlet colored is the last in the symbolical procession of beasts, he must possess all the characteristics of his ancestors. So the statement that the scarlet-colored beast, he must possess all the characteristics of his ancestors, can be easily understood that the revelation of the scarlet-colored beast, being the last beast in the book of Revelation, is a revelation that all the satanic scheme had been compacted as one in the symbolization of the scarlet-colored beast. And it is called complete satanic scheme. From the time he deceived Adam onwards, all that system, all that method that had been employed by the devil is revealed by God in one symbolization of the beast, which is the scarlet-colored beast. Therefore, to understand completely the scarlet-colored beast is to unmask and completely uncovers the deception of Satan, the traps of the devil. I remember the statement. And Testimonies to Ministers 444 says, those who overcome the world, the flesh, and the devil are the favored ones who shall receive the seal of the living God in their foreheads, pointing to the 144,000 living saints. So we need to overcome the world. Brothers and sisters, we need to overcome the flesh. And we need to overcome the devil. So, in order for us to receive the seal of the living God, we need to overcome the world, to overcome the flesh, and to overcome the devil. And, brothers and sisters, the only way that we can overcome the world, the flesh, and the devil is through and by the prophetic word of God. There is no other way. Because the devil, Satan, successfully confused the written word of God. That he can use the written word of God to implement as a weapon for our destruction. The statement in answerer number 1, page 65. Let's read. It says, and unless we let the truth extricate us from this fatal bug of confusion, we cannot defeat the enemy of inspiration in his tireless and powerful efforts to pervert the implements of our salvation into weapons for our destruction. You see, brothers and sisters, the written word of God is an implement for our salvation. But Satan easily perverted the written word of God. According to the Shepherd's Rod in 2SR page 10. But when it comes to symbolical prophecy, but when it comes to typological prophecy, I remember the statement in 1SR Packet Edition, page 74. Completely disarming the enemy of God. It says in 1SR Packet Edition, on page 73, so completely disarming the enemy of souls. Not only just disarming, but completely disarming the enemy of souls. The great designer of these typological truths leaves the reader free to make his own choice as to whether he will continue in the darkness or come out into the light of the Lord. No longer to wonder what church to join or what is truth and what is error. 1SR Packet Edition, page 73. Why is it that in 2SR page 10, it was coupled together, symbolical prophecy and typological prophecy? Brothers and sisters, because if something lacking in symbolical prophecy, it was revealed in typological prophecy. If something lacking in typological prophecy, it was revealed in symbolical prophecy. So it was coupled together in 2SR page 10. Although the next paragraph in 2SR page 10 is parabolical prophecy. The three chosen mediums employed by God to defeat the devil. But at this time, we will be focusing only to symbolical prophecy and typological prophecy. And concerning the book of Daniel, we already explained that the symbolical prophecy is the great image, Daniel 2, and the typological prophecy is the golden image, Daniel chapter 3. Now, let's read again the statement in tract number 12. So it says here, in tract number 12, on page 28, it says, the Lord has been at supreme pains not only to record a graphic description of the evil witch through the instrumentality of the beast, Satan has determined upon the whole world, but also aforehand to make of a similar evil a perfect type of the image of the beast. The type was struck when Nebuchadnezzar, that is pointing to the golden image. Daniel 3, verses 1 to 6. So the golden image is called the image of the beast. But brothers and sisters, the image of the beast and the beast is two different things. The beast is the type. The image of the beast is the antitype. Or the beast called the original. And the image of the beast is called the particular object in view. Now, I would like to enumerate one by one to you so that you could make a list concerning the image of the beast. The woman is a system. And that system is called the image of the beast. Now, let us read tract number 12. Page 35. It says here, tract number 12. And page 35. So it says here, thus at length they shall unset her forever. And the system which she symbolizes the image of the beast. So the woman represents system. And that system is called the image of the beast. Now, 2SR page 113. It says, 2SR 113. The last is an image of the first, verifying the fact that the scarlet-colored beast represents the image of the beast. The image of the beast period, fulfilling Revelation 13, 12, and 15. Here's another statement. Old symbolic code. It says, one symbolic code number 4, page 7. One symbolic code number 4, page 7. It says, let's read the statement. And the image of the beast above mentioned is the third, of which the scarlet-colored beast of Revelation 17 is symbolical. So what is the scarlet-colored beast in Revelation 17? Image of the beast. So the woman represents image of the beast. The scarlet-colored beast represents image of the beast. So we have already two, which is called image of the beast. The woman and the scarlet-colored beast. I would like to read this statement given by Alonzo Jones in 1888. Let's read. It says, the image of the beast is the false prophet. I would like to read again. The image of the beast is the false prophet. Then it says, then what is the false prophet? The image of the beast. So we have already three. A scarlet-colored beast called the image of the beast. The woman is also called image of the beast. The false prophet is also called image of the beast. Now let us read 2SR. To SR on page Let me see. 2SR page 148. The beast, 666. False prophet. Mother of harlots. Man of sin. Who are they? I would like to read again. 2SR 148. The beast, 666. False prophet. Mother of harlots. Man of sin. Who are they? Let's read 2SR 154. Note, she is not cast into a lake of fire, like the beast and the false prophet, but they, the horns, shall make her desolate, naked, and shall eat her flesh. Thus, the woman's destruction is at a different time, and in another way than that of the papacy, the false prophet, and the beast. Since what has been said cannot be contradicted, it is evident that the beast is one thing, the false prophet another, and the papacy another, and the woman is still another. It is great importance that these things be correctly understood, for by the knowledge of the truth only can God lead His people on to victory. So that statement is very plain that the false prophet, brothers and sisters, the woman, and also the scarlet-colored beast are three different things. And since the voice of inspiration plainly told us that the scarlet-colored beast is the image of the beast, the woman is the image of the beast, the false prophet is the image of the beast, therefore, at least there are three systems that have been employed by Satan, which is called image of the beast. But there is only one, which is called image to the beast. We have three images of the beast. We have one image to the beast. 4. So we need only 3 to make it 7. Complete satanic scheme. So to make it 7, then we have the fourth beast in Daniel 7, brothers and sisters, and we have the leopard-like beast and the lamb-like horn, or the two-horned beast. Why is it that we will not include Revelation 17, the scarlet-colored beast? Because it is a part of the image of the beast. So let us enumerate now one by one. The statement in 1 SR 214, complete satanic scheme. And what is the number of complete? Number 7. Acts of the Apostles 5:85, 1 SR 214, 1 SR 218. 7. Now we enumerate one by one. There are 3 systems called image of the beast. The scarlet-colored beast, the woman, and the false prophet. And then there is one image to the beast. Then there are already 4 systems. The first 3 systems, image of the beast. Another system is image to the beast. And then the 3 systems, nondescript, leopard-like, and the two-horned beast, make it 7. Complete satanic scheme. And to escape such complete satanic scheme is to understand completely that three systems called image of the beast: scarlet-colored, false prophet, and the woman. And then, the image to the beast. And then, the fourth beast in Daniel 7. And then, the first beast in Revelation 13, 1 to 10. And then, the two-horned beast, Revelation 11 to verse 18. But our all-wise God compacted the entire seven into one beast, the scarlet-colored beast. The scarlet-colored beast. Because the scarlet-colored beast possess all the characteristics. 2SR page 112. Since the scarlet-colored is the last in the symbolical procession of beasts, he must possess all the characteristics of his ancestors. And it is dealing only, brothers and sisters, to the scheme of the devil that he employed to deceive God's people. Or in other words, through the revelation of the scarlet-colored beast, God been able to portray completely, uncovers the traps of the devil, the deception of Satan, through the symbolization of the scarlet-colored beast. Although it is very important to study, brothers and sisters, the type to understand the antitype. Now, I would like to read again the statement in the Great Controversy 443. But what is the image to the beast? So what is the image? It did not say image of the beast, image to the beast. And it says, and how is it to be formed? The image is made by the two-horned beast. So, one thing for sure, very clear, the image, whether image of the beast or image to the beast, it must be formed in the United States of America because it is made by the two-horned beast. Made in the United States of America. Formed in the United States of America. According to the voice of inspiration. Then it says, then to learn what the image is like and how it is to be formed, we must study the characteristics of the beast itself, the papacy. But according to 2SR 112, all the characteristics of his ancestors is revealed through the scarlet-colored beast. But unless you have a definite understanding, the characteristics of the beast itself, the papacy, we will have a hard time to comprehend. We need, according to the admonition given by the voice of inspiration, we need to study the characteristics of the beast itself, the papacy. Is the beast the papacy? No. According to the Chamberlain Rod in 2SR 151. But the system employed by the beast is papal system. Brothers and sisters, the nondescript beast is not the papacy itself, but rather the system that had been employed by the nondescript beast is the papal system. So we need to study the system. I'm talking about the system employed by Satan to deceive God's people. Now, I would like to read the Great Controversy, 443. It says, let's read the statement. But the voice of inspiration says that 400, I think 444. It says, it was apostasy that led the early church to seek the aid of the civil government. And this prepared the way for the development of the papacy. The beast, said Paul, there shall come a falling away, and that man of sin be revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3. So apostasy in the church will prepare the way for the image to the beast. What church mentioned here? It could not be the early Christian church, because the beast that ascended in the bottomless pit during the Dark Ages, as is stated in Great Controversy 266 and 267, never been called image to the beast. The spirit of prophecy made it so plain that the image to the beast is another religious body. Story of Redemption, page 381. The beast and its image. By this first beast is represented the Roman church. That is the beast that ascended in the bottomless pit. What is the bottomless pit? Christendom. According to 2TG number 15, on pages 11 and page 12. The bottomless pit is symbolical of Christendom. But what Christendom? Apostate Christendom. 2SR 157. So it says here, by this first beast is represented the Roman church. So the beast mentioned in Revelation 11 verse 7 and 8, it is ecclesiastical body. And that beast is the Roman Catholic Church. An ecclesiastical body clothed with civil power having authority to punish all dissenters. The image to the beast represents another religious body clothed with similar powers. And what religious body predicted in the voice of inspiration? That is the evangelical church. The image to the beast. Here in the great controversy, let us read again the statement given by the voice of inspiration. And we know that it is pointing directly to the evangelical church in the United States of America. 445 in the Great Controversy. Charles Beecher, in a sermon in the year 1846, declared that the ministry of the evangelical Protestant denominations is not only formed all the way up under a tremendous pressure of merely human fear, but they live and move and breathe in a state of things radically corrupt and appealing every hour to every baser element of their nature to hush up the truth and bow the knee to the power of apostasy. Was not this the way things went with Rome? Are we not living her life over again? And what do we see just ahead? Another general council, a world's convention, evangelical alliance, and universal creed. The Great Controversy, page 445. Now, brethren, although it is a long study, but I'm trying my best to shorten the study, but if possible, nothing is to be ignored. Nothing is to be cast aside. All the important lessons revealed by the beast revelation, we could be able to grasp all the meaning. I would like to read 2SR. Here in 2SR page 85 and page 86. Let us read. It says, as the same number of horns appear on each succeeding beast, namely the nondescript, Daniel 7 verse 7, the leopard-like, Revelation 13 verse 1, and the scarlet-colored, Revelation 17 verse 3, representing the entire New Testament era. So from 31 AD, the entire New Testament era is revealed by God into 3 divisions. The first division is the nondescript beast. Now, I would like to read nondescript beast. Old symbolic code. To symbolic code, number 10, page 12. To symbolic code, number 10, page 12. It says, this power, whose dominion is to be taken away by the saints, John the Revelator saw, symbolized on the leopard-like beast of Revelation 13 as the head that was wounded. Therefore, the nondescript beast of Daniel's vision is the leopard-like beast of John's vision, varying only in the time it exists. And as the symbols of the nondescript beast of Daniel's vision carry us only up to 1798 AD. To Symbolic Code, number 10, page 12. So from 31 AD to 1798 AD, brothers and sisters, in that period of time, the deception employed by Satan to deceive God's people is revealed by God through the symbolization of the nondescript beast. So we have 31 AD to 1798 AD. So it is the period of the nondescript beast. Therefore, from 1798 AD up to what? It is the period of the leopard light. But inspiration is not saying that when the devil employed another system to deceive God's people, he dropped this system. No. Or this system had been phased out. No. This system is still employed by the devil. But the devil is upgrading his system of deception. And even before the devil upgrade his system, it was already revealed by God. So let us now study closely the leopard-like beast, brothers and sisters, and then the scarlet-colored beast. In the Shepherd's Rod says that the scarlet-colored beast began in 1929. So, we need now to study closely. At the time when these last three beasts, which is a universal system, were employed by Satan, and it was compacted into one symbolical beast, the scarlet-colored beast. According to 2SR page 100, 112. Now, I would like to read to you, brothers and sisters, 12 Symbolic Code. Let me see. Here in 12 Symbolic Code, I think 11 Symbolic Code. By which it is called the transition of time. So, let us read. 11 Symbolic Code number 7, page 23 and page 24. Page 22 and page 23 rather. So let's read, brothers and sisters. 11 Symbolic Code. Number 7, page 22 and page 23. But before going to 11 Symbolic Code number 7, page 22. let me read that statement, the transition of time from Assyria to Babylon. The statement that the carrier of the leopard-like beast is about to pass off. So I would like to focus that first. 11 symbolic code. Can you find that statement? About to pass off. The carrier of the leopard-like beast. 11 symbolic code. So I lost the... Oh. Symbolic code. So let's read that statement, brothers and sisters. 12 symbolic code number 1. Page 7, and then go to page 8 and page 9. It says here, the period we are now in is antitypical Assyria. That is in the days of Beti-Hotep. 12 symbolic code number 1, page 7. The period we are now in is antitypical Assyria. The Assyrian period is about to pass away, and the period of Babylon to be ushered in. But there is another thing that is to happen between the setting up of the confederacy of Isaiah 8:9 and the rise of Babylon. It is the setting up of God's kingdom. Now in page 8 and 9, it says, you see then that these chapters are arranged in their correct order. And put in other terms, it can be said that when this association of Isaiah 8 is urged, not formed. It must be formed first before it will be urged. But here it is talking about when the association of Isaiah 8, that is the confederacy in Isaiah chapter 8 will be urged. Or to compel everyone to participate such confederacy. Now let us read again the statement. 12 symbolic code number 1, page 8 and 9. You see then that these chapters are arranged in their correct order, and put in other terms, it can be said that when this association of Isaiah 8 is urged, to repeat again, the statement that this association of Isaiah 8 is urged, meaning it was already completely formed. It was already completely established. But this statement is after the Assyrian confederacy had been formed, and it says, when this association of Isaiah 8 is urged. The leopard-like beast of Revelation 13 is about to pass off. So, the leopard-like beast of Revelation 13 is about to pass off when? When the association of Isaiah 8 is urged. And then it says, and the other period represented by the scarlet-colored beast of Revelation 17 is about to come on the stage of action. Now, I will not read the next sentence concerning the fall of Assyria because we will take that on another subject. Because our subject is only dealing concerning the beast. when does the leopard-like beast, brothers and sisters, is to pass off? At the time when the association of Isaiah chapter 8 is urged, then that is the transition of events from Assyria to Babylon. Now, concerning, brothers and sisters, Daniel chapter 11, the focal point is the king of the north rather than the king of the south. Why? Because in tract number 12, let us read again. Tract number 12, page 6. The kingdoms that have gone down, the kingdoms that still exist, and the kingdoms that are yet to come, whose legislations involve God's people. And as far as the Bible is thus concerned, as explained by the Golden Bowl, it is definitely pointing to the king of the north. We are talking about the New Testament period. First, the king of the north is pagan Rome. Now let us read tract number 12, page 64. Tract number 12, page 64. So it says here, the king of the north, pagan Rome. So what is the king of the north? Pagan Rome. So that is from 31 AD to 476 AD. But from 538 AD, the king of the north is papal Rome. Right? According to the Shepherd's Rod. Tract number 12, 64 and 65. But after the Dark Ages, the king of the north is Great Britain. 2TG number 7, page 10. 2TG number 7, page 10. It says, that the king of the north at the present time is Great Britain in particular. TG number 7, page 10. But the last nation to inherit the title king of the north is the United States of America. Now let us read to symbolic code number 1, page 8. As the fulfillment of this prophecy is yet future, we cannot now tell who will then be the head, king of the north, of this prophetic nation, modern Babylon, that is symbolized by the two-horned beast. What is the king of the north? Modern Babylon? Brothers and sisters, the two-horned beast, United States of America, the last Christian nation to inherit the title King of the North. Daniel 11 verse 45. Now, let us read again. 2SR. 2SR page 100. 151. It says, the two-horned beast is the only one representing a local religio-political government. What is the two-horned beast? United States of America. So the statement, the two-horned beast is the only one. What is a religio-political government? Now, let us now study closely the history of the United States of America. Do not forget the statement. 2SR 151. The only one nation by which such religio-political government will be established, it is in the United States of America. Now, let us read 2SR. Let's read. Here in 2SR. Pages 88 and page 89. So, let's read the statement. It says, 2SR page 88 and page 89. The crowns represent civil authority. So do not forget that statement. The crowns represent civil authority. We need to gradually establish divine principle. What does the crown represent? Civil authority. So, that is the statement. It is very plain. What is representing by the crown? Civil authority. Then it says, the crowns represent civil authority as previously explained. Now, I would like to read, I think 2SR. 2SR on page 2SR page 113. So let's read the statement here. 2SR 113. Note that the dragon of Revelation 12:3 has the crowns on his heads, not on his horns. So, what is represented by crown? Civil authority. So, let us now put, brothers and sisters. Crown, what is the representation of crown? Civil authority. How about the horns? What is the symbolization of the horns? If the crown represent a civil authority, how about the horns? I would like to read to SR. On page 88. It is impossible that both horns and heads could stand for civil government or kings. If the horns represent the political side, then the heads cannot. So, what is representation of the horns? Brothers and sisters, civil governments. To SR page 88. So, what is the representation of the horns? So, let us put here. Horns represent civil governments. So, to place the crown, for example, this is horn. So, to place the crown on the horn or horns is natural. That is natural. Because civil governments must have civil authority. But to place the crown on the heads, that is unnatural. Although I do not know how to draw a head. For example, this is head. So to place the crown on the head, it is unnatural. As well as it is unnatural for the horns to engage in religious aspect. Because head represent religious aspect. Religious. So it is natural for head to engage in religious aspect. But it is unnatural for head to be crowned. Because crown represent civil authority. So it is unnatural for the head, which represent by church, to engage in civil aspects. It is unnatural. At the same time, it is also unnatural for the horns to engage in religious aspect. So, if the horns engage in religious aspect, then, brothers and sisters, that is engaging church and state. The state is now fused to the church. And if the church engaged in civil aspects, then the church is fused to the state. Why is it, brothers and sisters, that the particular object in view is King of the North? Because north is pointing to the throne of God. Pointing to the throne of God. So, if it pertains to the church by which their king is God, or their king is Jesus Christ, then they have the king of the north. But the king of Babylon, which is north, is Satan. Now let us read the great controversy. 668. So, let us read the statement. That the king of Babylon is Satan. Please project that statement. That is in the great controversy. I think that is 668. Great controversy. Page. Make it faster. I would like to read 11 symbolic code. King of Babylon, Satan. 11 symbolic code number 7. Let me see. By which B.T. Hotep says that page 15 and 16. Uh, 660. So let's read the statement. It says, the king of Babylon, here representing Satan. The great controversy, 660. So it is pointing to Satan, by which illustrated in Ezekiel 28 and Isaiah 14. Brothers and sisters, that he will establish his kingdom on the side of the north. And that kingdom that Satan will establish, I will read to you in the writings of Alonzo Jones, predicted beforehand that the kingdom of Satan will be established in the United States of America. Now, I would like to read here in 11 symbolic code number 7, page 15 and page 16. You recognize this description as being that of Lucifer. Yet the prophecy is addressed to the prince of Tyrus. That is Ezekiel 28. Just as Isaiah 14 associated the king of Babylon with Lucifer. By this we are to understand that both Tyrus and Babylon are instigated by Satan and are set up to do on earth the identical wicked work that Satan did originally in heaven. 11 symbolic code number 7, page 15. So, the king of the north in Ezekiel 28, in Isaiah 14, in Daniel 11 verse 45, is pointing to Satan. And I would like to read to you here. And, the writings of Alonzo Jones. That let us read the statement here. Uh, 1888 message or image to the beast. It says, when they joined hands with Papyri, it was to set up the papal institution, as the testimony which has been printed in the bulletin told us, that God's memorial has been set aside, the false Sabbath has been put in its place. In the doing of that, she has joined hands with Papyri, has set up the institution of the papacy instead of the institution of God. That much is fulfilled then, that was accomplished in joining hands with Papyri. Now the next thing is to join hands with spiritualism. And then under the influence of this threefold union, every principle, not only as a Protestant, but as a Republican government goes. Now, a Republican government is a government of the people, not a monarchical government. What is the object of Satan in working all these miracles? Well, I shall read the rest of the sentence first. Then it says, now, why is it, and for what purpose is it, that Satan does these miraculous things? Isn't it to prove that he is Christ? Congregation answered, yes. False Christ shall arise and shall show great signs and wonders, if possible to deceive the very elect. But he puts himself in a place of Christ. Christ is king, isn't he? Congregation answered, yes. When Satan in those miracles put himself in the place of Christ, it is to be the same thing, is it? Congregation answered, yes. When this is done, then upon the very face of it, every principle of Republican government has been taken away, and they will have a monarchy established. Monarchical government will be established in the United States of America. And so the object of spiritual is to open the way for the professed coming of Christ and the sitting up of his kingdom on the earth. So, we need to study also the predicted event given to us by God, that Satan will establish his kingdom. Where? In the United States of America. Now, I would like to read this reading in tract number 12. Tract number 12 on page 37. So let's read the statement. It says, but those who find themselves in her dominion and those who find themselves out of it, so those who are under the dominion of that system represented by the woman to be established in the United States of America. Why? Why I say that dominion is to be established in the United States of America? What is the dominion of the woman? The beast that she drives. What is that beast? A scarlet-colored beast What is the scarlet-colored beast? The image of the beast. I already read that, right? To SR 113. Who made the image of the beast? Great controversy 443. United States of America. I think there's a statement, if I could find that statement given by Alonzo Jones, saying that the beast is formed in Rome, but the image is formed in the United States of America. And that's why there's a statement says that American Rome, pagan Rome, papal Rome, and American Rome. Find that statement saying the beast is formed in Rome, but the image is formed and made in the United States of America. What does it mean that America made scarlet-colored beast? We know it is not literal. It is symbolical. I would like to go directly, brothers and sisters, that United States of America allowed the devil to employ his scheme, the complete satanic scheme represented by the scarlet-colored beast, to be employed in the United States of America. Let us be logical thinkers and not bait hunters. 2 TG 24:23. Deep Bible students. 2 TG number 6, page 15. I'm only saying to you just one statement saying that the beast is formed in Rome and the image, and you one paragraph. If you could not find the statement, do not post long reading. Now, let us go back again, brothers and sisters, in our study. To repeat again, the image is formed in the United States of America. Both the image to the beast and image of the beast. The Great Controversy, page 443. It says, the image is made by the two-horned beast and is an image to the beast. It is also called an image of the beast. So the image to the beast, the image of the beast, is formed in the United States of America. What is the purpose of the complete satanic scheme? To deceive the whole world. And if possible, the very elect, the 144,000 living saints. Why is it that Satan employs such satanic scheme in the United States of America? Because Satan knoweth that the whole world are imitating United States of America. Now, let us now focus our attention, brothers and sisters, to the nondescript beast, the leopard-like beast, and the scarlet-colored beast. I would like to focus first to the nondescript beast. Why? Because that is the admonition given by this for prophecy. Let us read again. The Great Controversy, page 443. Then to learn what the image is like and how it is to be formed, we must study the characteristics of the beast itself, the papacy. Now let us study first the horned head. Do not forget our divine principle. What does represented by crown? Civil authority. 2SR page 88. What is represented by horns? Civil governments. So it is natural that the horns will be crowned. Because horns represent civil governments, therefore, he has civil authority. But it is unnatural for the heads to be crowned. What does it mean by crown? The heads is crowned. Clothed with civil power. And that is image to the beast. Now, let us read again the statement in Story of Redemption. 381. It says, by this first beast is represented the Roman Church, an ecclesiastical body clothed with civil power. What is the representation of the papacy during the Dark Ages? Horned head. But where is the crown? Brothers and sisters, there is no crown mentioned in the nondescript beast. It is revealed only to the red dragon. Let us read 2SR. Page 2SR page 69. The dragon with his 7 heads and 10 horns with the crowns on the heads appeared at the birth of Christ as previously explained and occupies the period parallel with the nondescript beast. What is the statement in Story of Redemption, page 381? The Roman Church, the Roman Catholic Church, is clothed with civil power. What is the representation of the civil authority? Crown. But there was no crown, brothers and sisters, on the nondescript beast. It is found on the red dragon because the red dragon runs parallel with the nondescript beast. So what church in the pagan Rome that had been crowned with the civil authority? The Jewish church. The 7 heads of the red dragon represent the Jewish church. That is why Sister White says, I would like to read to you again the statement. On the Great Controversy, page 438, a correct interpretation of the symbols employed is necessary to an understanding of this message. What is represented by the beast? What is represented by the image? What is represented by the mark? Then it says, the line of prophecy in which these symbols are found begins with Revelation chapter 12. So concerning the third angel's message, the symbolization of the beast does not restrict to the beast alone, but also to the red dragon. If you cannot find the description on the beast, it is found on the red dragon. Who is the red dragon? Satan, the king of Babylon. The king of Tyrus. According to the Shepherd's Rod, 11 Symbolic Code number 7, page 15. I would like to read the statement that it was the Jewish church represented by the 7 heads of the red dragon in the period of pagan Rome. It says, the heads are represented by the biblical number 7, meaning completeness, and embrace every religious system in the days of Christ. Every religious system in the days of Christ, as the dragon represents the devil who controls the heads. The symbol unmistakably denotes a complete apostasy. It is not intended to reveal that the pagan system of worship was seeded by the devil, for it has never been otherwise. It was the Jewish church that had apostatized, and that is what made the biblical number 7 heads. 2SR page 69. Who are they? The 7 heads on the first period of the nondescript beast? Pagan Rome. All religious system in that period of time. How about during the Dark Ages? What is the representation of the 7 heads of the red dragon? All Christendom. Here in 2SR, it says here, page 85, 2SR, page 85. The horns being reduced to the biblical number 7, because 10 horns, then 3 had been plucked up. 10 minus 3 equals 7. The horns being reduced to the biblical number 7 signified that the papacy was to have complete sway over the entire world as far as the Christian church is concerned. To SR page 85. So you see, brothers and sisters, during the Dark Ages, what is the representation of the 7 heads of the red dragon? Entire Christendom. The 10 horns of the nondescript beast being reduced to 7 indicates that the papacy bear sway the entire Christendom world. Now, how about in the last generation of men? By which, in reality, Revelation chapter 12 is directly applied, Because in 2 TG 12:30, the 7th seal contained 15 chapters long. And then it says in track 15, page 10, the 7th seal begins on chapter 8. Therefore, chapter 12 is a part of the description of the 7th seal, pointing to the last generation of men by which that red dragon must be directly applied, brothers and sisters, in the last generation of men. What is the statement given by the Bible in Revelation chapter 12? Let's read. Revelation chapter 12 on verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. What is the verb having? It says, the red dragon having 7 heads. Now let us read track number 5. Page 60. It says, as Christ is the one who secures Satan's captivity, thereby ushering in the millennium, he alone can be fittingly symbolized by the angel, having the key of the bottomless pit, and by the star to whom the key was given. And as the giving of a thing to any certain one must precede the having of it, by that one the verbs given and having. So here, this statement, track number 5, page 60, indicates 3 periods of time. First, giving, then given, then having. And I would like to say that the statement in 2SR page 69, it says that the symbolization of the red dragon does not, or it was not given by God to reveal the pagan system of worship. For it has never been otherwise, meaning it is a waste of time. And there is no reason for God to waste the time of His servant to make a symbolization of those movements, of those churches, that it was led by or headed by the devil, while in reality, from the time it did exist, it is already of the devil. So the statement, it was the Jewish church. So in the primary application, the statement giving, given, and having, brothers and sisters, pointing to God's church, that the time came that God completely allowed the devil to bear sway completely to the church by which previously is of God. Or in other words, the revelation of beast and the red dragon is a complete revelation how the devil defeated the movement which is of God. So that the statement, Babylon had fallen, can be easily understood. The church which is of God had been defeated by the king of Babylon, which is Satan. And that's the reason it says in the Great Controversy 383, it says, the second angel's message of Revelation 14:8 must apply to the religious body which was once pure and had become corrupt. Or in other words, it must be applied to the religious bodies by which it was established by God, recognized by God as His, and later on, it was defeated by the devil. the king of Babylon, which is Satan. Now, let us try to look at first the first stage of the nondescript beast. Because the statement says, you want to understand the image of the beast and the image to the beast, study first completely the beast itself, the nondescript beast. So we need to study the two stages of the nondescript beast. Then there will be no more difficulty to understand the last two universal beasts, the leopard-like and the scarlet-colored beast. Now let us look at first, brothers and sisters, the first stage, the nondescript beast. Let's begin in 2SR. So, it says here, 2SR on page 56, 61 to 62. Attempts to establish ecclesiastical governments. It says, attempts to establish ecclesiastical government. The question may arise, what hindered Satan from establishing an ecclesiastical monarchy before the closing period of the Old Testament? It says, before the closing period of the Old Testament. When does the closing period of the Old Testament commence? Brothers and sisters. So that we could see the type and antitype. The question may arise, what hindered Satan from establishing an ecclesiastical monarchy before the closing period of the Old Testament? The only answer that can be given is, the Jewish nation permitted him to becloud their eyes. They were told not to make a confederacy with the world, but unmindful of the command, they made a league with the Romans, and that is what helped Satan to accomplish this scheme. The question is, what hindered Satan? The answer is, the Jewish nation helped Satan. So the answer is indirect. Now let us go to the next paragraph. It says here, quoting Daniel 3, that is the first time that Satan attempts to establish ecclesiastical monarchical government. But what hindered Satan? Then it says, then this man came forth unhurt. It is wonderful what God accomplished with but 3 slaves against a world empire. These 3 men, with faith in God, broke the satanic contrivance, abolished the establishment of an ecclesiastical government, and brought the king's decree to naught. Satan worked out a similar plot in the Medo-Persian government with plans that were carried out by intrigue, taking, it says, the king unawares. Though Daniel was cast into the lion's den, he too came out unharmed, but his enemies perished as did those who threw the 3 Hebrews into the fiery furnace. The Satan's power was broken in both of these ancient empires. Now, can we answer positively? When Satan tried to establish ecclesiastical monarchical government during the period of King Nebuchadnezzar, what hindered Satan? Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Now, Satan again attempts to establish ecclesiastical monarchical government on the Medo-Persian Empire. What hindered Satan? Daniel. So what hindered Satan? God-inspired servants, the prophets. First, brothers and sisters, we can easily discern that in the first attempt of Satan, Daniel was not in Babylon. Because Satan thought that it is only Daniel that could hinder, because he is the one who interpreted the dream of King Nebuchadnezzar. So Satan arranged the matter to send Daniel into a far place. But Satan was mistaken. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were there. But when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were dead, Satan thought that the hindrance disappeared. Therefore, he employed again. But Daniel was still there. At last, Satan find out that as long as there is even one inspired servant of God, he could not be able to establish ecclesiastical monarchical government. Therefore, Satan tried his best to put into the hearts of the people to reject the prophets. And we know that he succeeded. Because when Malachi died, God no longer sent any prophet, according to 2SR. From that time, God no longer sent any prophet. 2SR, page 100. Let's read the statement. That from that time, brothers and sisters, there was no more prophet. 129 in 2SR. Thus they had been without a prophet since the time of Malachi. 2SR 129. So when does the closing period of the Old Testament commence? I would like to read. 2SR page 126 and 127. And in the latter time of their kingdom, the 4 Grecian divisions, a king of first countenance, shall stand up. This scripture is applicable to the Roman monarchy, for this king must stand at the head of the reign of the kings of Grecia. The Ptolemies was the last of the 4 Grecian divisions to fall under the ascendancy of Rome, with the defeat of Antony and the death of Cleopatra about 27 BC. 27 BC, brothers and sisters. Then we have 27 plus 27 plus 31. Therefore, 31. 27 plus 31. Therefore, there are 58 years. If the Christian era will commence on, brothers and sisters, on 31 AD, as stated by the shepherd's rod. Because we have type and antitype. The closing period of the Old Testament and the closing period of the New Testament. Now, let's read the statement here. In the latter time of their kingdom, the four Grecian divisions, a king of first countenance, shall stand up. This scripture is applicable to the Roman monarchy, for this king must stand at the end of the reign of the kings of Greece. The Ptolemy was the last of the four Grecian divisions to fall under the ascendancy of Rome. With the defeat of Antony and the defeat of Cleopatra about 27 BC, the noted dynasty of the Ptolemies came to its end, and Egypt became a province of the Roman state. He was to stand up when the transgressors are come to the full. The Grecians had never been anything but transgressors. Therefore, the reference can be applied only to the Jewish nation, at which time the once favored people of God would have exceeded any previous record of both moral and spiritual corruption. The Jewish nation reached that condition at the time of the ascendancy of Rome and the first advent of Christ. Therefore, this king of first countenance is the Roman monarchy after the transgressors, Jews had come to their full. What full? Full apostasy. Complete apostasy. 2 SR 126 and 127. So that statement is the same with the great apostasy. Apostasy in the church prepares the development of the papacy. Apostasy in the Jewish church, the Jewish nation, prepares the development of the ecclesiastical monarchical government, pagan Rome. So the same, brothers and sisters, with this ecclesiastical monarchical government, now, I would like to ask a question, brothers and sisters. In the study of Hosea 1 and 2, we know that the Jewish nation is already in apostasy, even at the time when the prophets were still living. But the absolute fact is that the term complete apostasy never arrived as long as there is still a prophet in the nation of Israel. Although they were already in apostasy, but the prophet checked the tide of apostasy, that it will not reach to the full apostasy. But when Malachi died, when the time God no longer sent any prophet in the nation of Israel, the apostasy became complete. Full apostasy. The transgressors came to the full. How about the antitype, the United States of America? What is the ecclesiastical monarchical government? It was introduced by Satan in 1888. But who hindered Satan? Alonzo Jones, Wagoner, and Sister White. Antitypical Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Satan completely failed. When does the second attempt of Satan? 1948. But still Satan failed. Why? Because antitypical Daniel, B.T. Hotep, was still in the United States of America. Now, if you will be saying that God will continually raise up prophet after prophet with unbroken line in the United States of America, then you will be saying that there will be no mark of the beast system. There will be no image to the beast. There will be no image of the beast, by which contradictory to the Bible and the spirit of prophecy. The spiritual side. Why is it that in the United States of America, the implementation of the image of the beast will be realized due to the fact that God no longer raised up any divinely called servant in the United States of America. That is perfectly corroborating to the second angel's message. Revelation 14:8. There are two Babylon, according to 2SR 245. Babylon before the flood, the antediluvian world, and Babylon after the flood. The Babylon before the flood, that is pointing to the churches. That is why, that is in 1844, addressed to Lutherans, Presbyterian, Methodist, Baptist, and the First-day Adventists. But the second Babylon, modern Babylon, addressed to the nations. The 50 states of the United States of America. And such apostasy is revealed in the presidential election of the United States of America. The last presidential election. Now, let us analyze closely, brothers and sisters. Although all of these things is in detail revealed by God through the beast revelation. And, brethren, only by the prophecies can we prove or disprove. Accept or reject any message. Track number 6, page 4. And on our next episode, we will try to show to you how God completely revealed the last generation of men. Now, I would like to read 2SR. On page 112, it says, since the scarlet-colored is the last in the symbolical procession of beasts, he must possess all the characteristics of his ancestors. The 10 horns of the nondescript beast, the 7 heads of the leopard-like, and his own unharmed heads show that he comes on the stage of action after the deadly wound was healed. His scarlet color denotes curse, as it does on the dragon, devil, in Revelation chapter 12, verse 3. And the words go into perdition, Revelation 17:11, reveal that he is to bring this world to an end by a curse that will result in entire ruin, utter destruction, future misery, or eternal death. Therefore, if this beast represents our world at the present time, would it not be unwise on the part of God if he should have neglected to foresee the present-day multiplicity of sect and the great confusion among Christendom if the symbols by this beast fail to reveal the true condition of the churches? As the nondescript beast tells the fall of the church in the period he represents, so must the scarlet-colored. In fact, this is the principal reason why these prophetic beasts are presented. There are 2 principal reasons why these prophetic beasts are presented by God. What prophetic beasts? Nondescript, leopard-like, and scarlet-colored. Because that is the only beast, universal beast, to represent the new era, the entire era of the New Testament era, the entire period, 2SR 85 and 86. And it was enumerated one by one, right? We already enumerated. The nondescript beast, brothers and sisters, from the closing period of the Old Testament up to 1798. Divided into two periods, pagan Rome and papal Rome. When does the ascendancy of the pagan Rome? 27 BC. BC. How many years? The closing period of the Old Testament? 58 years. If we will put it on 34 AD, so it must be 60 years or 61 years. But the minimum, 58 years. We need to study closely because that is also the number of years of the closing period of the New Testament. The closing period of the Old Testament and the closing period of the New Testament. So I would like to enumerate again, as stated in 2 SR 85 and 86, the three universal beasts, nondescript, leopard-like, and scarlet-colored. God portrayed the deception of Satan employed in the entire New Testament period. But even commence to the closing period of the Old Testament, 27 BC to 1798. Nondescript beast. Right? We already read that in the Old Symbolic Code. 2 Symbolic Code number 10, page 12. How about the leopard-like beast? From 1798, brothers and sisters, to the time when the Confederacy is formed. The Confederacy of Isaiah 8. And when the time when that Confederacy is urged, the leopard-like beast is passed off. Although, brothers and sisters, one beast to another beast overlap each other, according to the shepherd's rod. But to become a universal empire, it is consecutive order. They did not intercept it, but only the existence of each system overlap each other. Because beast represents system. The system employed by Satan to deceive God's people. So, since we already finished by now the nondescript beast, although some parts of it we will touch, but tomorrow, on our next episode, we'll be focusing to the leopard-like and the scarlet-colored, as well as the woman. But do not forget, image of the beast and image to the beast will be formed in the United States of America. It is made by the two-horned beast. Now let us enumerate again. What is the image of the beast? Scarlet-colored. It's called image of the beast. The false prophet, it is called image of the beast. And the woman, it is called image of the beast. What is the image to the beast? That is another religious body. We already studied. That is the evangelical. And as far as the evangelical church is thus concerned, the largest membership of the evangelical is found in the United States of America. As a matter of fact, the leadership of the evangelical is located in the United States of America. So we have four. These four must be formed in the United States of America. Who will form it? The two-horned beast. Who will develop it? Brothers and sisters, I would like to say develop, meaning to employ it throughout the whole world, because the two-horned beast is only a local system. So this image of the beast, scarlet colored, the false prophet and the woman will emanate origin in the United States of America. Then later on, it will be universal. Image of the beast, an image to the beast. So we will continue this subject on our next episode, hoping the good Lord will bless us. Thank you very much for listening and viewing this program. Have a beautiful and wonderful evening.